Hi, it's Elizabeth from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and today we'll be doing the handover video of the Elddis Majestic 135. First thing you'll come to behind your driver's door is your freshwater filler point. So you want to take the cap off and then put your hose pipe through there, and you'll need some adapters, as some sites just provide a brass tap. And then when you're done, put the cap back on and make sure you lock it with a key so no one can tamper with your fresh water. Under the vehicle behind your front wheel, we've got your freshwater drain off valve. So when you're leaving a site, you don't want to travel home with the extra weight of your fresh water. But also when you're winterising your vehicle, you don't want to leave any water in the tanks to freeze and cause frost damage. So you want to let all the water drain out. And then when you come to use the vehicle again, just make sure you close the valve off so the water stays in the tank. Next, we've got your toilet cassette locker. So as long as the blade in the inside of the toilet is closed, you can pull the orange handle up and slide the cassette out. And then when you empty, you just want to twist the spout round, take it off, and then tip it up and empty, and at the same time pushing the orange button. This just allows some air in and stops it from glugging. Then you want to give it a good swirl around with some fresh water, empty that out again, and then put your blue or green liquid in the cap, twist it back on, and it's ready for use again. Then underneath your cassette, under the vehicle next to your vents, we've got your wastewater drain off valve. So again, you don't want to leave any water in the tanks through winter to cause frost damage if they freeze. But also when you're leaving the site, you don't need the wastewater, so dump it out before you travel home. And it also helps save on the payload as well. The back of the vehicle at the top, we've got your reversing camera. We've got your nice large window. And then we've got access into the garage. So this just leads into the back of the vehicle. The back of the vehicle at the passenger side, we've got your leisure battery, and then we've also got your hookup point. So when you're hooking up your cable to the vehicle, you want to connect the cable to the vehicle first and then the mains, and then when disconnecting, you want to disconnect from the mains and then the vehicle, so you're never walking around with a live lead. Next, we've got your gas locker. So this will hold two 6-kilogram gas bottles. And then when you're attaching your pigtail to the gas bottle, it's left to tighten, right to loosen, opposite way around being gas. And then when you turn the gas flow on and off, it's the top dial here. Always make sure you have it turned off before you travel anywhere. And you always want to make sure you've got the gas bottle strapped in nice and tight so they don't rattle around and move when you're travelling. On the outside of your passenger door, we've got your diesel filler. So you'll need your ignition key to open up the diesel cap. On the outside of your passenger door, we've got your ideal tyre pressures. And then on the front, we've got your bonnet release. Under the bonnet, the main things you want to focus on is your screen washer fluid. We've got your engine coolant and your brake fluid, your oil and your dipstick. And then we've got your negative and your positive down there if you need to give or receive a jump start. And we've also got your weight plates on the front as well. To use your main control panel, first thing you want to do is turn your master switch on so that everything on the inside of your vehicle will work. And then from here you can turn your internal lights on, and then you've also got rocker switches around the vehicle to turn them on and off individually. You've got your water pump here, but always check that you've got water in the water tank before you put your water pump on. And then you can switch that on and you'll get a pressurised flow of water throughout your vehicle. And then last, we've got your awning light for the outside. When you press your water switch on here, you'll see the dial move and show you your water level.
To work your wheel heating, this is your temperature here. So the temperature needs to be above the outside air temperature, and max is 30 degrees. So once you've picked the temperature, you now need to pick the energy source, which is on the left hand dial. So on the O, you've got off. This is the system turned off. To the right, you've got the fan, which just recirculates the air within the van. And then you also have the gas setting, which you'd use if you're wild camping. As you have no source of electric, you use your gas bottles to heat your vehicle, which is on gas. The other way, you've got one wavy line, which is 1 kilowatt, which is 750 watts of mains hookup. You've got two wavy lines, which is 1850 watts, 2 kilowatts of mains power. You've got 3 kilowatts, which is 3000 watts. And you've got mix 2, which is gas, plus 2 kilowatts, 1850 watts of mains power. So you'd use this one in the winter. If you were just arrived on your site to take the chill off the van, 20 minutes, you knock that off. Don't waste your gas any longer, and then knock it to either 2 kilowatts or 3 kilowatts, depending on which site you're on and what power outage they have. On some smaller CL sites abroad, you may have to use 1, but on most sites throughout the UK, you can use between 2 and 3, depending on what else you run at the time. So if you're boiling a kettle and you've got the microwave going at the same time, it might be too much. You might want to turn this down before you use other appliances, or use one appliance at a time. Don't run too much power together at once, because you may trip the van or trip the site. But that is, at the minute, is heating the vehicle on 2 kilowatts of mains power. Below you've got your water heater. So you've got, again, 2 sources to heat your water off. You've got gas, and then on this side you've got electric. So you've got off in the centre, 1 kilowatt 750 watts, and 2 kilowatts 1850 watts at the bottom. So we'll use 2 kilowatts to heat your water, which is a 10 litre water container. So it heats the 10 litres in the boiler up at any one time. So in the kitchen you do have 3 gas burners which are lit. Using the ignition on the front of the cooker there, you can light those. And then you do have 1 electric hot plate, which is this one here, which illuminates with a red light. But that only works when the vehicle is hooked up to mains power. Make sure everything's turned off and everything's cool enough before putting the glass lid down, otherwise it may smash the glass if it's too hot. But underneath you'll find your grill, and under the grill you do have your oven. If you ever need any parts for the oven and grill, the model number is on the sticker on the side of the door. You may want to take your grill pan and oven shelves out when you travel, as they can cause a little bit of rattling when on the road. And in the cupboard,
To make the bed up in the rear lounge, you want to come to one side and then just gently pull out the base of the bed. And then you want to do the same to the other side. And then what you want to do is bring the base cushion forward. Once the base cushion's pulled forward, you want to let the backrest drop into the gap behind, and then do the same with the other side. And there you've got your rear bed all made up, ready to sleep on.